guys, hi, my name's Kansas. Welcome to Talkin' Trivia. We're gonna be going over a little bit of like Ireland and Scotland trivia today. I studied abroad in Dublin back in 2019. I did a 3-week course to take the class during the spring, and then you go abroad for 3 weeks, and we did a lot of like site visits. So it was a lot more in person than normal classes.
Hi everyone, I'm Riley. I'm an applied mathematics major. I studied abroad in Dublin, Ireland during spring 2019. I was there for the full semester. I studied at UCD, which is just outside of Dublin, so I spent a lot of time in the city.
Hi, I'm Lauren. I'm a fourth-year packaging science major, and I studied abroad also in spring of 2019. And I studied in Glasgow, Scotland, at the University of Glasgow. And yeah, I was like right in the city, so got to spend a lot of time in the city, which is really cool.
Does anybody have any questions before we start the Kahoot game at all? Or we can also, you can either like speak your questions or you can put them in the chat if you're more comfortable with that. All right, we can also ask questions at the end too. And then I'll just pull up the Kahoot. All righty.
Okay, does everyone want to give like a little thumbs up when they are all good?
So is packaging science a lot different in Scotland?
Yeah, so I actually took mostly like gen ed classes because obviously packaging science is pretty niche. So I just finished up with like my gen eds because it was my sophomore year, so I still had a few of those to get through.
I also forgot to mention, but I'm an electrical engineering tech major. So if anyone has any like questions on how to balance like some of the lab criteria with study abroad, again, I would really recommend that course you take during the spring, and then you go and study abroad. But if you have any questions, don't feel free to ask.
Okay, so it looks like we have almost everybody.
Mhm.
Maybe
The last
two
few.
more. Is anyone not in yet that wants to be in? No, everyone's in.
All right, I'll give it another like minute or so just for any stragglers, I guess.
So there is a question in the chat. Why'd you guys pick Ireland or Scotland? I know for me, it was just like the first study abroad program that was kind of offered that would fit my degree requirements. So it was just kind of like the luck of that's also where I wanted to go.
I chose it because I'm actually part Irish. So my family's been to Ireland a few times and I really liked it there and I wanted to spend more time there. And then once you're in Europe, it's really easy to travel to different places. So it was kind of just a no-brainer, I guess, for me. All right, I guess we'll start the Kahoot. Unless there's
Do you want to wait for a second for Denise.
Oh, yep. Oh, wait.
Yeah, so it's www.kahoot.it.com, and then I think it'll just ask for the link and you, or the PIN number, and you do 870-3071. Also, I chose Scotland because I wanted to go somewhere English speaking just because it is a lot easier because I don't speak another language. And so it was really between the UK or like Australia, and Scotland was obviously a lot closer. And yeah, I'm really glad I did because I love it and I can't wait to go back someday. Okay, looks like she's in, so.
Alrighty, we'll get
now.
started. Here we go. What is Scotland's national animal? All right, so the correct answer is unicorn, which is a pretty interesting thing. I don't think any other country has a mythical creature as their national animal, right?
Yeah, they're pretty quirky over there. I did never see a unicorn though, unfortunately.
What famous
But
sport?
I totally believe in them. I'll be completely honest.
What famous sport was invented in Scotland? I think it would be pretty awesome to see a unicorn once in a lifetime.
Did you see the Loch Ness Monster?
I did, actually.
Perfect.
No photos though.
No, of course not. Ooh, this was a tricky one. Yeah, so golf was actually invented in Scotland, which is pretty cool, but it does not have the most golf courses of any country, which is unfortunate, but.
What is the national symbol of Ireland?
Riley, correct me if I'm wrong, but that is the newest bridge in Dublin, correct?
I believe so. And it is in the shape of a harp. So I thought it was a little bit of a hint, but I didn't want to give it away fully, you know?
Yeah, that's a cool bridge.
Yeah, I drove across it like once. It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
What are two holidays that originated in Ireland?
I think this one's my favorite question.
I think this one is the trickiest.
So it was Halloween and St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day, obviously, but.
I didn't expect Halloween. I was shocked to learn that one.
Yeah. Valentine's Day originated in Rome, actually. I Googled that.
What movie takes place here? And you'll see the picture in a second.
Oh, we got some fast answers in this one.
Maybe it's an obvious one.
It's in Scotland, by the way. I went there. Really, Lord of the Rings. It does kind of look like Lord of the Rings, so I understand that confusion, but Lord of the Rings was in New Zealand. Big Lord of the Rings fan over here. Riley, there's a bunch of squiggles drawn on your screen.
Better?
Yep.
All right. What is the name of this landmark? And again, the picture, there it is.
This is in
Dublin.
Dublin, right?
Yeah, Dublin, Ireland. it was right across from my favorite store, actually. Penny's. It's really nice there. It's called the Spire of Dublin. Glasgow is the most visited city in Scotland.
I think it should be, even if it's not. I genuinely don't remember the answer to this question, though.
I know, I feel like I've forgotten a few of the answers. Oh, that was a pretty even split. So that's false. Is it Edinburgh that is?
I think Edinburgh, yeah. Edinburgh is very beautiful, so I understand, but I have more emotion towards towards Glasgow.
Mm-hmm. All right. Ooh, I'm freezing. There we go. What show features this site? So that is in Northern Ireland, if that helps anyone.
I guess only one of them was a show,
Yeah,
so the word in that one might have kind of given it away.
Okay. Irish Gaelic is one of the official languages of Ireland. For anyone curious,
I have a picture exactly like that I took at the Cliffs of Moher.
Which one? What?
I have a picture that looks exactly like that.
I think I took that picture.
Yeah.
It's a pretty common.
When I went, it was it had just gotten a ton of fog in, so like we had to wait for a while, but we could walk right along the edge, and it was kind of scary because it was just all fog underneath the cliff.
Oh, yeah, that would terrify me. I stayed far away from the edge because I was like, it would be just my luck to be that person.
Amani streak.
English is the original language of Ireland. Good job, guys. It is one of the official languages, and nowadays it is like the native language for most people, but Gaelic is the original. What animal is not native to Ireland?
I think this was also on our.
Sorry, having St. Patrick's Day yesterday was kind of a good hint for this one.
Mm-hmm. St. Patrick supposedly cast all the snakes out of Ireland, but really it's just an island, so they don't have them to begin with.
Kind of bold there.
What is the meaning of diagwit?
That's Irish Gaelic also, correct?
Yes, yeah. Sorry, I forgot to say that. Good job.
Ooh, some shakeups.
Which country has more redheads per capita?
This is a tricky one. I don't remember the answer to this one.
This one is tricky, yeah. Yeah, so I think Scotland has more total, but they have a larger population. So Ireland has more per capita.
I remember when I got off the plane in Ireland, every billboard was redheads.
Mm-hmm. What is an official language of Scotland?
Obviously, English is one of the official languages, but they have two.
Mm-hmm. That one also seemed like a trick question, I guess.
What was the second most answer?
I don't remember. I think it was Norn.
Norn is like a very ancient language that I don't think like anyone speaks anymore. Scots, I think about 30% of the population speaks, and Scottish Gaelic, which was the correct answer, I believe about 3% speak. So it is a native language, but it's not really spoken. Or it is an official language, but it's not really spoken.
Mm-hmm. Ireland has 80 islands.
Something I thought that was really cool while in Ireland is that I believe it's around 2 hours coast to coast, east to west, and then it's like 9 hours up down. So if you are able to like rent a vehicle, it's super easy to like travel around.
Yeah. Yeah, and everyone in Ireland thinks that like 2 hours is a really long ride, but for us, it's just kind of like another day in the life, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of similar with Scotland as well. It's a little bigger, I think, but
On St. Patrick's Day, the River Liffey is dyed green. So that's the River Liffey for anyone curious. Oh, that was a quick one. It is not
It's
dyed green. It's the Chicago River that's
yes.
dyed green. How long does whiskey have to be aged for in Ireland to be called Irish whiskey? I feel like this one's kind of tricky.
yeah. 1 person. Wow.
Good job to that person. How many counties are in the country of Ireland? I gave you guys
You can
a little
count
map.
those real fast.
Yeah,
then
you can
props.
count them.
Quick little estimate.
Yeah, so there are 32 on the island, but 6 of those are Northern Ireland and 26 are in just the Republic of Ireland. How long does Scotch have to be aged for in Scotland to be called Scotch?
Another tricky one.
Mm-hmm.
What I thought was really cool when we had visited the Jameson distillery is that they would buy old barrels from other companies, and like if they use a wine barrel, their whiskey would start to soak up some of those notes.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
What does the green color on the Irish flag represent? All right, so that one was a tricky one too, I guess. I believe the white represents peace. I don't remember what the orange represents. Good job, Ryan. What is the most popular non-alcoholic drink in Scotland besides water?
Yeah, Iron Brew is this, it looks like orange soda, and I tried it, and it's so sugary and so sweet, and I couldn't drink it, but I would see Scottish students walking out of the grocery store with like a 2 liter every single day. And I was like, do they just drink those every single day? Like, it's very popular. And it's like only popular in Scotland because it's a Scottish drink.
The Book of Kells is located in Kells. Good job. I really thought that would be a tricky one.
I feel like that would be a horrible question to be like, if it was true. That's so boring. But where is it located again? Do you remember?
It's in Dublin. It's at Trinity College in one of the libraries there. So I think if you're a student at Trinity, you can visit it whenever you want to for free.
What is the Book of Kells? I don't even know.
It's a really old book. I don't remember exactly what it is, but I think like they have it on display. And if I'm remembering correctly, they like turn one page like every day or something. So like if you go every single day, you can read the whole thing. But I don't think many people go every single day.
Yeah.
There is a royal residence in St. Andrews, Scotland. So that is not in St. Andrews. That's just a royal residence that I found.
Yeah. There are 2 royal residences in Scotland, I think, but one of them is not in St. Andrews. I know there's one in Edinburgh, and I believe there's one in another small-ish city, not Glasgow.
I think it starts with a B, if I'm remembering where I got that picture from. I think it starts with a B, but I don't remember name of the city.
I'm not sure.
Which group was Dublin founded by?
Another beautiful Dublin bridge.
So
Yeah, I
it's the
crossed over.
Vikings. They came over from Norway a long time ago, and then they settled in Dublin. But eventually, I think they left. I'm pretty sure if I'm remembering right. And the final question is, there are over 50 programs through RIT Study Abroad that go to Ireland and Scotland. Good job, guys.
I think it was 37 and 12 or about that for the programs.
37-18 maybe?
37-18 would make sense.
Riley is a math major. She's very good at math.
Just have those numbers right up here. So congratulations to Imani and Ryan. You guys have won the $15 Grubhub gift card. It's an e-gift card, and you'll be getting it, I believe, tomorrow. So does anyone have any other questions for us about what it's like to study abroad? It can be like general questions too. It doesn't have to be specific to Ireland and Scotland.
What are some cool or fun things you did or explored while you were there?
While I was there, I traveled to 9 countries, which included Ireland. So that was really great. I got to see the Northern Lights, and I got to go to Austria and England and all these different places. So that was really fun. And then just like being in Dublin, it was really easy to like get around places because they have a great bus system. So just being able to like go to random places in the city, like the different statues they have and everything like that was really fun. And I was there for St. Patrick's Day, so it was nice to be at the St. Patrick's Day parade, but it's actually not like the biggest parade in the world. I believe when I was there, the president of Ireland was in Chicago for the St. Patrick's Day parade, so it's not like the biggest thing in the world, but it was still pretty cool to be there in Ireland for St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, I also traveled to either 9 or 10 countries while I was there. So there's definitely a lot of opportunity to travel. I had almost a month of spring break when I was there, and obviously it's super cheap to travel around. So again, like I got to go all over, which was awesome. And I also got to do a homestay, which was really cool. I just went for a weekend because I lived in like the dorms. So then for one weekend, I got to go up to kind of like not the Highlands, but right below the Highlands. And I got to stay with like a single mother, but it was just her. Her children are out of the house, and she made like amazing meals. So that was also a really cool experience. And I know a lot of other people who I was abroad with also did that. So that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I got to go to London before, so I went there for like 3 days before the program started, just because I had realized the flights over from London to Dublin were like kind of cheap. So I did that, and then I went over to Galway, which is right outside Cliffs of Moher, for a weekend, and then we had gone to Amsterdam for a weekend. Definitely with the 3 weeks, you have to kind of like pick where you want to go, but like overall, like it's still a great experience, and you can come back if you have an internship and like do that for the rest of the summer and kind of make it what you need.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw we had a question in the chat. Where were you when you went? I was ending my sophomore year, going into my junior year.
I went during the spring of my sophomore year.
Yeah, I was also spring of my sophomore year. It's definitely, I'd say, a little easier to go when you are younger, but that's not saying that you can't go, you know, as a third or fourth year or grad student even, you know, there's opportunities for everything. But, you know, like I said, I'm packaging science, so I just really got to finish up some of my gen eds over there instead of doing actual packaging major stuff because they don't have that over at Glasgow. But if you're more of like more common major, they very well might have classes over there. I don't know about you, Riley, because I know you're math, so they probably did.
Yeah, so studying abroad for math is a little bit more difficult. And usually people who study abroad for math go to the Budapest semester in math. But unfortunately, my dad was not comfortable with me going to a country that didn't speak English when I was a 19-year-old female going by myself, which I completely understood. And I was just thankful that he was okay with me going at all. So I ended up going to Ireland, and so I just had to make sure that my classes all transferred over. So the most important thing is that you plan ahead. And if you really want to go, but you already finished your gen eds, maybe you could try and doing your immersion or something, and just taking like 1 or 2 classes that go towards your major. But it's just, I think you could probably figure out a way to make it happen, even if it is just what Kansas did with like a semester long class and then going after the semester. I think there's a lot of opportunities to study abroad.
We also have the international campuses as well. I know the Dubai one. A lot of engineering majors go there. So you just like check into the program and like see what classes they offer compared to the ones offered at the main campus.
Mm-hmm.
Also, about what Riley said, obviously it makes sense that her dad didn't want her to go to Budapest, but in general, Europe is very safe. I felt very safe in every city. Obviously, you have to be cautious. But I genuinely can say I think I felt safer in most of the cities over there than I have in most of the cities in the US. So there's nothing to worry about. I mean, obviously, like I said, be cautious, don't be stupid, but it's not like scary to go over to a different country in their cities.
Yeah, just be smart, be safe. And like my dad, I'm his youngest child, so obviously I'm the favorite, of course. So he didn't want to risk anything, but it really was very safe. And like I was never in a situation that I thought that something bad would happen. I was always very comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Brennan, you said, did I miss anything major? Not really. We just did the Kahoot, so that's unfortunate that you didn't get to be here for that. But those were kind of just fun trivia facts, and then now we're kind of just talking about more what it was like to study abroad and the questions you guys have.
Mm-hmm.
And then Emma, did it cost more than a regular semester? So for me personally, it cost less because the tuition at the University of Glasgow is a lot less. And then I did get my scholarship from RIT taken away to like compensate for that, but it still ended up, I think, a couple $1,000s less for the semester. But then obviously I spent a lot on traveling and stuff over there, so it probably evened back out. But the actual cost of tuition for me was less.
Yeah, I had the same thing. The tuition was less, but RIT did adjust for that and like took away part of my scholarship. But overall, like I didn't spend any more money than I would have at RIT, even with the travel. And I got a way more interesting experience, at least for a semester.
For me, it doesn't really count as the same. Just because I took it as a spring class, it counted under that semester, but I did have to pay a like study abroad tuition fee. But I had gotten a scholarship through the study abroad office, so that made it a little less.
Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of scholarships that you can apply for to study abroad, and there are some programs at RIT that will reimburse you. For example, I'm in the honors program, and so I applied for a reimbursement for my plane ticket over, and my plane ticket was about $520, and they gave me $500 back. So I ended up paying $20 for a round trip flight to Ireland, which was pretty cheap, I have to say.
My flight was very expensive. I think I booked it too late, and it was, I think, almost $4,000 round trip.
Oh, wow.
But you obviously can be smart, and like Riley said, there's ways around it. And yeah, just don't wait till, I think I left in November, or I left in December, and I didn't book my flight until like mid-November, like Thanksgiving time. So definitely you could book it before then and probably get it for cheaper.
I also did a weird thing. I'm from Buffalo, so going to Canada is like no big deal. So I actually flew out of Canada. So if it's an option to go to a different city that's cheaper and you just have to drive a little longer, like that might be something that's worth looking into.
Yeah, for sure. Bigger airports are always cheaper. I flew out of Albany Airport, which is tiny. So that's another reason why it was so big. And I had 3 layovers. But Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah. So Jenny asked, how was the adjustment period when we got there? And like, was there culture shock or anything? Yeah, okay. So for me personally, it really wasn't bad. I think especially going to like a country like Scotland or Ireland, or England, the UK, Australia, where it's English speaking, and the cultures are pretty similar. I really didn't have any culture shock. The biggest thing was like, the difference was like the foods. Like I couldn't get snacks really, like the snacks that I like, and their snacks were kind of bland. I'll say that now in all honesty. But like, yeah, settling in wise, I really didn't have much of an issue. I lived in a dorm style apartment kind of, and there was about 30 other students in there with me, and we were all studying abroad from different places in the US and different countries all over. So we got like pretty close, obviously, and so I had them to be with and everything. So I really didn't have much of a culture shock or, get homesick really too much. And I got a phone plan so I could talk to my parents and everything all the time.
Yeah, I also didn't really have too much culture shock. The one thing that was really different was there are a lot of smokers in Ireland. So I was walking through a lot of like cigarette smoke and like vape smoke, I guess, which is weird because I all of a sudden smell like bubble gum and I was like, what is happening? But that's not really all that bad. So
I think mine was also not that bad, especially because I'd already met all the kids that I was going to be studying abroad with from the class. So it was a lot easier, like getting settled into our housing and stuff.
There's a question about, is there much by way of engineering schools over there? Will it be difficult to find schools that will have engineering classes that RIT is okay with? I'm a math major, so I don't really know how it applies for engineering. In my experience, oh, well, there's a helpful link in the chat. In my experience, if you plan early, usually, at least for me, the like earlier classes, like the 200 level classes, transfer easier than the upper level classes. But I don't know about engineering. That's just for math.
Yeah, so you could always do like what Kansas did. Obviously, she's electrical engineering tech, as she said. So you can do like the RIT class and then go abroad for, a couple weeks or whatever. But I actually went with my boyfriend at the time, and he was mechanical engineering, and we were there for 6 months, and he took some engineering classes that did end up transferring over. So it is possible. It's definitely easier, I'd say, to go again when you're a little younger, especially as an engineering major. But just the link that Michelle sent in the chat goes over all majors and where you can study and stuff. And RIT and, whoever you study abroad through, RIT, they're really good at figuring out if it works for you and being like open and honest, like, yeah, you probably shouldn't go here because that won't work for you.
There's also the global campuses, I think, that are RIT global campuses, so it should be easier to find classes that transfer for those.
I know, especially the Dubai campus is really good. I know a girl who had studied abroad, I believe her junior year as an electrical engineer. So I'm not sure about the other disciplines, but I know she was able to take a couple classes.
Yeah, so Shay said, do you think we'll be able to get the full experience by next spring? We really don't know. I don't even think Michelle probably knows yet, anyone in the office, just because we're not really sure where we're at. Like, hopefully, vaccines are getting distributed pretty quickly. So hopefully, but I don't think they know anything yet. If there's any updates, obviously Michelle can say it right now or put it in the chat or anything, but
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Michelle from the Study Abroad office. We're not sure yet how, COVID will continue to affect travel and study abroad. We're hopeful for fall, maybe. So even more hopeful for next spring. I'm always telling students to still explore and still apply and still come and talk to our office. Because if you have a plan in place, once travel does resume, you can hit the ground running and you've already done all the legwork behind the scenes. So we're hopeful maybe for fall, maybe for spring. So we'll see how it goes.
Hopefully.
I would also,
Yeah, fingers
This-
crossed.
sorry. I'd also look into this a little more, but I just saw this kind of briefly online today that the World Health Organization, when you go and get your COVID vaccine, if you get like a yellow folder kind of thing instead of the white one that a lot of the people in the US have been getting, and you get that have a doctor's note and like a signature on it, that is good for studying or for traveling abroad, since it'll be taken by like the majority of countries. I would look into that a little bit more just because I'm not like the most knowledgeable on that, but
Yeah. The little white paper is the CDC, which is an American, organization, obviously. So the WHO or, World Health Organization doesn't necessarily accept that. So yeah, you'll just need to, figure that out, but I'm not sure. Okay, Luca's question of how many classes did we take while we were there? I believe I only took 4. The way it worked at the University of Glasgow was I had to take an exact amount of credits. So it was, I believe 36 was their number, but it was, equivalent to about 12 credits, and I had to take exactly that amount. So it was kind of tricky finding classes that added up to exactly that amount. But they did all get transferred over to RIT, except for one that I did not pass, and that was my fault. The final grade was fully based on an essay, and I'm really bad at writing essays. But all of the ones that I passed, they all got accepted by RIT, and they're in my transcript now, and all good. And it didn't really affect my being on track for graduation. I can't really say because I also changed my major, so that could have affected it. But I'm basically like 1 semester behind, but that again could have just been from changing my major. And like I said, my classes got accepted by RIT, so it shouldn't really affect it too much.
When I went abroad, I was there for a full semester, and I took 6 classes, which seems like a lot, but it was kind of weird because like 6 classes was 30 credits there, but it transferred to 15 credits here. But they don't really do the same sort of like learning style. So they don't really have like a ton of homework assignments. It's mostly just the midterm, which is like 10 to 15% of the grade. And then the final exam, which is like 80 to 85%. So it's kind of like a lot of pressure right at the end of the semester, but it's nice to have that free time during the semester so that you can travel more and kind of experience studying abroad rather than just worrying about getting your homework done and making sure you have, like, you've studied for your exams and everything. And I didn't get behind on my graduation. I'm still graduating when I was supposed to, so I'm all set. There's another question about, sorry?
I just was seeing if Kansas wanted to say anything about that also.
mine didn't affect me just one class, but I believe that counted as just a general perspective that I didn't have yet. So.
And so there's a question, if we already made housing plans for spring 2022 and we decide to study abroad and said for that semester, would we be able to change so we don't get charged? That's more of a question, I think, for the housing people. They do have their terms and conditions online. I don't really know. I know that for co-op, if you cancel, they don't charge, but I don't know for study abroad.
Do you know where you're going to be living, Emma? In Global? So I believe with RIT, they do something. I don't know. I live at Province, and they have a co-op and study abroad addendum where they will find someone for me. So they just found someone for me, and I just had to pay like a sublet fee, and yeah, it was pretty easy.
There
So
is
I'm not
also,
really sure
sorry.
that we are good.
There's also, if you cancel by a certain date, you don't get charged at all. So if you decide before that date to go abroad, you won't get charged. But I don't know, it kind of changes as you get closer and closer to the deadline, how much they would charge you.
there's also going to be kids coming back from co-op, and like if there are study abroad in the fall, kids coming back from that. So normally they're able to move people around and figure it out.
I'll just
Yeah.
jump in here quickly because we do have this as one of the FAQs on our website. So, and I'll tell you what it says here, and that since Emma, you're living in Global Village, so if you're studying abroad during the spring semester, you would check out of your room at the end of fall, and you would not be responsible for paying any rent during the spring semester that you are abroad. Your room would be made available to another student during the semester you're absent. Now, of course, you do have to let housing know. You can't just move out and expect them to figure it out. So it says, when you check out at the end of fall semester, check the study abroad option on your key return packet and email housing to let them know you're not returning to your room for spring due to study abroad. So there's a process in place, and that's if you're living on campus. And if you go to the FAQs or essential information on our website, it also gives information for other scenarios as well, if you're living off campus or things like that. So good question.
Yeah, for sure. That was one of the things that I was probably most worried about. And even like, now I've gone on co-op and I'm going on co-op again, and it is stressful. But a lot of the places are pretty good, either on campus or like Province or Park Point. They're pretty good at understanding that, co-ops are necessary and people study abroad and stuff. So they'll do their best to accommodate you. Does anyone else have any questions? You can speak it or put it in the chat.
So Michelle, I don't know if you can answer this question, but if I'm considering between either doing the RIT Global Campus like Dubai or doing one of the other affiliate programs, should I set up an advising appointment with Maureen or Roseanne?
What's your major?
CSEC.
Was that computing security?
Computing security, yeah.
Security. I would email Maureen Shannon first, who is our advisor for global campuses, and ask her, tell her that you're debating and you just want to know what direction might be better, and ask her, does our global campuses, and that would be Croatia or Dubai, have computing security coursework, and see what she says, because if there's not a good amount of computing security coursework at the global campuses, that'll kind of determine your decision for you. And then you would go and meet with Roseanne, because I'd hate for you to set up a whole meeting with Maureen and then find out that the coursework is not there for you. So I would maybe email Maureen Shannon first and just get a sense of, are courses even available in computing security? I know they both, Croatia and Dubai, have computing coursework, but I am not well versed enough in computing type of stuff to know if it's the kind of coursework that computing security would do. I believe it's more web and mobile computing and maybe IT.
So. I know that like Dubai has the CSEC and they have some like 300 and 400 level classes. Okay. So I don't think it should be an issue. It's just more about, everything else in the whole experience.
Yeah, I guess, if you know the coursework is there and you're interested in Dubai, you could do, I would say whatever direction you're leaning more towards, Dubai or outside of Dubai, is who I would meet with first in our office. And regardless if you meet with Maureen or Roseanne first, both of them know enough about the other programs available where they can still work with you and talk to you about those things. But, I don't know if you have a preference yet, Dubai or elsewhere, but just start with whatever advisor advises for the program you're most interested in.
Okay, yeah, thanks.
Anything else before we wrap it up? I'll take that as a note. Yeah, so I guess that's it. You know, it's almost 7 o'clock, so we spread it out pretty well. Is everyone okay, no, not everyone's frozen. Riley's frozen on my screen, so I was just seeing if it's me or if it's everyone else. But everyone can hear me right now, right?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you all for coming. Again, if you have any more questions, feel free to email anyone at the Study Abroad office, or if you want to talk to, us, if you wanted to go to Scotland or Ireland or anything, I think all our emails are on there as well. But yeah, Michelle obviously knows a lot, and Roseanne and everyone, Maureen. But yeah, thank you all for coming. And to the winners of the Kahoot, you guys will be getting an email with the $15 gift card.
I did just put a quick link in the chat. So Lauren, Riley, and Kansas are all global ambassadors who work for our office, and we have many more. So if you go to our website, you can get their information and connect with them via email or reach out on social media if you want to continue asking them questions and getting their perspective. So you can find them all there.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you all so much, and I hope you have a great night.
Thank you guys.